Happy Friday, boys and girls, and thank you for coming back to sports and other things of the sort. I'm Lucas Stein, as you may know, and today it's all about the team, baby! Or at least it should be. Before we go any further, I want to leave a little reminder to make sure you're constantly checking our Facebook and YouTube pages, because we're starting to upload more and more over there, and we plan on releasing some full-length videos here pretty soon. So if you want to see that extra content, go over and check it out. It's free. All right, so we've all read the title. I wrote the title, but what do I mean? Well, I think it's best to start with what made me want to do this episode. So I saw a video from Frank Michael Smith over on YouTube. If you're into sports, he's a great channel to look at. And he was reviewing the Ravens game that ended their season in the divisional round of the playoffs recently. In this video, he was saying the excuses are up for Lamar Jackson. He said, this is typical Lamar. He has a phenomenal regular season and disappears for the playoffs. That may or may not be a direct quote. I honestly don't remember. Just go check out the video. Now, I did not see the game. I saw clips, which will come into play in about a minute and a half. But let's look at Lamar's stat line. He went 18 of 25 passing with 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 1 fumble, and 2 sacks. He wasn't lighting it up, but it was his highest passing yards since December 15th against the Giants, so there were some positives. But yeah, when you lose the ball on a fumble or an interception, it's never good, and he did it 2 times, interception and fumble, got sacked twice. However, Lamar is not the only guy on that field. Lamar can't block the defensive line, throw, and catch a pass all at the same time. No, he just passes the ball. Why didn't he get sacked twice? Again, I didn't see the game. But could the O-line have protected better? Probably. Could the Ravens' defense have not given up as many points? Probably. Could Mark Andrews have caught that pass at the end of the game? Yeah, absolutely. Look, I get it. Lamar's the quarterback. He's the head of the offense, and he needs to control the ball so he can control the game. But again, he just throws the passes. It's the other guy's job to protect him or catch the ball. And I'm not like, this episode isn't to take a shot at Frank Michael Smith, because I understand where he's coming from. I just think it's somewhat of an unfair point of view, which brings me to today's episode. One guy does not win games. One guy does not win championships, especially in sports like football or baseball or basketball. Now let's kind of dive deeper into football as a whole rather than just the one game. In the lead up to the AFC Championship against the Bills and the Chiefs, I saw a ton of hype commercials, I guess, that said something like, it's Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes this Sunday at 6:30. My response is always, ready? It quite literally cannot be. They are never on the field at the same time ever during the course of the game. That's, I think, the media's biggest problem when it comes to this stuff. Sure, the quarterbacks are the leader of the offense. Well, what about the defense? They never get nearly as much coverage as the QB unless they sack someone 9 times or something like that. A quarterback versus quarterback matchup doesn't make sense because they don't have any effect on how the other guy does. A more appropriate matchup would be something like, it's Amik Robertson versus Terry McLaurin at Sunday on 6:30. At Sunday on 6:30. Whatever. I understand the QBs are the leaders of the offense, like I said, but they are not everything. They cannot be everything. And then they'll start talking about championships too. They'll bring that in the mix. Patrick Mahomes will make history with a 3-peat. What about the entire organization? Patrick Mahomes isn't on the field half the time, and somehow he's the only one that gets mentioned by name for making history? I know like most of the time, they'll move on to talking about the team, but they'll only talk about the QB for 90% of the banter. I mean, what about the one and only, the diva, Travis Kelce? No offense. I believe he would make history too, right? And that can go right into any GOAT debate. Whenever the GOAT debate is brought up, people immediately look at championships. Oh, Michael Jordan is better than LeBron because he's 6-0 in the finals. Really? Okay. Show me the clip where Jordan went 5-1 against the Utah Jazz for 48 minutes and won the game. You can't. There were 4 other guys on that court for the Bulls while Michael Jordan was on. I even have some stats for you. Ready for this? In the 1998 finals, Jordan led the Bulls in points. Okay. He wasn't top 5 for the Bulls in assists or rebounds for that whole series. He was the focal point of the scoring, sure. But what about the other points the guys scored? Or about the 50 boards Dennis Rodman got? Or the 29 assists Scottie Pippen had? Jordan did not do this alone. So why do we treat championships like individual awards? Because the argument really gets torn down when we look at the list of individuals who have the most championships. If championships are individual, like some people like to argue, here is the list of players from bottom to top, I should say, who are better than Jordan. Robert Horry, Frank Ramsey, Jim Luskutov, John Havlicek, Satch Sanders, Casey Jones, Tom Heinsohn, Sam Jones, and Bill Russell. They are never in any GOAT debates, but they have more championships. So the championships are only an individual award when it's convenient for the argument. Got it. Stop treating championships as individual awards. And then to move on to baseball, so we cover the 3 sports that I mentioned earlier. I think this is the sport where talking about one player as if he is the only one who does anything is the most prevalent. I don't care if Aaron Judge hit 2 home runs and the Yankees won 6-3. That doesn't mean he is the only reason he won. He could have led the offense. What about Garrett Cole, who pitched for 7 innings, struck out 10, and only gave up the 3 runs on 3 hits? Without the pitcher striking guys out and the defense making plays, Aaron Judge's contributions would mean nothing. So, to kind of wrap it up and tie this thing together, because I tend to ramble and stuff like that, I think we need to start putting the team over the individual. Highlight all the players that made a great contribution. I totally understand. You look at Michael Jordan, he was a 10-time scoring title winner. He was all defense, all offense, all NBA. He was an all-star. He was a finals MVP. He was a season MVP. He was fantastic. I'm not saying Michael Jordan is a bad player. There's a reason he's in the GOAT debate. But to use championships as an individual boost for Jordan when he was not the only guy that made a significant contribution, I think it's a little dishonest. Again, we have to highlight all the players that made a great contribution. We have to look at the O-lineman that had 10 blocks or something. Highlight the great defense from a guy like Andrelton Simmons. When we just look at the LeBron James of the team or the Michael Jordan of a team, we leave out some great players. We leave out some fantastic talent because we are too blinded by the quote-unquote superstar of the team. Well, that's all she wrote for this one. I hope my thoughts were somewhat clearly articulated. Again, I'm not trying to disparage the fantastic players. I'm not trying to knock down LeBron James a couple pegs on the totem pole of greatest of all time. I just like seeing everybody getting recognized. You know, when you win by 2 points, or even when you lose by 2 points, it's not one person's fault either way. That one guy could have made 2 more shots to put you up by 2 points. That other guy, if he didn't score the 2 points, we would have been tied. If he didn't score 4 points, we would have lost, right? You can't put all the attention on one guy just because they are the guy of the team. They deserve a lot of the attention because they are fantastic players. But in my eyes, you can't do that because it's a discredit to everyone else around them. Anyway, I'm going to leave it here. Just remember to check us out on YouTube and on Facebook and be here next Friday for the start of a new mini-series we'll be doing here on Sports and Other Things of the Sort. See ya.